Phyllis, could we have roll call, please?
Craig Koshaw,
Here.
Bill Carba,
Here.
Ken Meyer.
Here. You were emailed a copy of the minutes from our April, what was it, 17th? 17th meeting. If you had a chance to read those, I'd look for a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
A motion and a second to approve our minutes from our April 17th Board of Works meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Okay. First thing I think we'll do, since I see we have guests here, is we'll discuss the amendment to American Structure Point's contract for the Clarifier project. So who, Kevin, are you, or Ann? I didn't know who's... Okay, this is in reference to the Clarifier project out at the waste treatment plant and American Structure Point's contract, and I guess we need to have some kind of an amendment. If you want to try to explain all this, Kevin?
Yeah, we'll give you a couple of these. The first one, the coasting is just a limited notice to proceed. There's still some contract issues that we want to work out, some different language. Needs worked out with the coasting contract. So what this does is it allows us to continue on with the ordering of equipment, different things like that, so that way the process can keep moving without being held up by the contract.
Anyone had anything?
No, we keep it moving and it will help out.
That's, you said that's what the...
Preliminary.
Yeah, that's the proposal. We had one of these signed that expired in April.
So all this is doing is extending it. Okay. So with that, I would need a motion, if you've had a chance to read through that, to extend the deadline.
And this, this allows them to release shop drawings to some of the different suppliers and start getting some things fabricated up.
This would extend it to what, May 29th? Is that what I'm reading here?
June 15th.
On the front page. Okay, there it is.
We should have the contract finalized and signed. Previously, the board authorized the signature by the mayor. Once that was, the negotiations were completed, we're still working through some of the issues, but that should be coming pretty soon, I would think.
So it's your additional cost to the...
Any additional costs?
No, not to do this. All this basically says is if we were to back out of the contract with them,
Then we have costs.
and we order equipment, we still have to pay for the equipment.
The rate's the same for 2017 and 2018?
As we were looking at the structure point contract,
Yes.
We're still on this coasting one.
Oh, my pardon. You got them both?
Yeah, yeah. Two separate things.
same project, just two separate.
Yeah, this is just to extend the notice to proceed.
Okay, I'll make a motion to extend the time to proceed.
And authorize the mayor to sign it.
And authorize Mayor Ken Meyer to sign that. And what you, Tim, what you explain that May 29th is written here, but you said you wanted to go to June?
That's when, I think May 29th is...
May 29th.
It's on the back
GSC contract and project execution.
timeline from March 6th, 2018.
We're going to have this finalized probably within the next couple of weeks, so it's not going to
That's not
matter.
relative. Yeah, okay, I'll second Craig's,
Okay. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I will sign this. and give to Phyllis. And then now we can talk about the structure point. Proposal for additional services, construction phase services, wastewater treatment plant, secondary clarifier rehab.
We had a contract with Structure Point up to the point of getting a contract with the provider, which is proposing. So what this does is bring them on board for the rest of the project, doing an inspection, having regular meetings. I don't know if Mike's going to add anything to that.
Yeah, this contract here is the construction phase. First contract was for the design. We've gotten through that. This is to assist throughout the construction, doing shop drawing approvals and reviews, answering questions of the contractor, attending construction meetings, and doing inspections at key points. A lot of those we can time them with the construction meeting, and we were working efficiently for you. This part of the contract would be an hourly, instead of not to exceed amount in it, so it's straight hourly. And in reference to your question, those rates are the rate, they're the current rates, and then once you approve it, these are the rates until this contract would expire. So even if it goes beyond 18, these would still be the rates that would be used, because that's what's approved with the amendment.
When you plan on starting the work?
Actually breaking ground.
Yeah, it says something about completion by December, and it says it's going to take four months.
Yeah, that's based off the tentative schedule from the original, so really it all depends on the contractor. We've already told them, the winter, there's some fluff, they're not set on that schedule, so it's really just going off the original schedule that was set from when the guaranteed savings contracts request went out.
And that's what, if you remember, a few weeks ago, when we signed the original notice to proceed with the code team, so they could get some of that equipment ordered. Stay on that. Yeah, try to keep on that stuff.
This one has the additional cost, this contract.
Well, this is this will have additional cost because this is for all their work they will do during the construction phase. And it's an hourly rate, which is, it's attached to the back page, and it also has a not-to-exceed fee of $30,000. So, I think it's kind of crystal clear. We need to move forward with it. Look for a motion for me to sign it.
It's all three of you.
Well, we
Yeah,
have
for all of us to sign.
we have to sign it also, but yeah, I'll make a motion to accept Structure's Point, further consulting. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You want to sign each one of these and pass them over?
Michael probably want a copy.
Michael, take one.
You want us to sign the ones that we have in front of us, and then...
I think we need 3 of them total, probably.
Okay.
You might as well sign it. Not keep one. If you want one.
I don't need one.
The code team one.
We'll have it, yeah, at least.
If you want to sign that, that's just shoot.
We having the mayor sign for this one?
On Cocosine.
Okay.
He's got to sign all.
We sign these and then have the mayor sign for Cocosine?
Yep.
Did you make the motion, Craig?
Bill did,
Okay.
and then I second it.
And there's a second one of those.
Kevin, do you want this one? No, this one.
You got one there?
Okay, so we've got 3 here. How many you want, Mike?
I think that's plenty, isn't it?
Well, I need
He said
one,
he
Kevin
wants
needs one, and Mike needs one.
Oh, okay. So,
All right,
Just
so
keep
we got
signing
this
them.
one. You need to sign it.
One too many. We have too many, it's okay.
Bill Carbaugh. This guy, all 3 of us.
sign date that.
You want what, 5-1?
Yeah, 5-1.
5-1?
Yep. Kevin,
I don't need to sign that.
you got 4 of them signed, that's plenty.
There you go.
You good on those?
Keep that.
Yeah, she has one. There's,
Much.
yeah.
I think that we...
Okay.
The mayor would sign that for us.
Thank you. Thanks for coming up.
So, Cookasing.
Can I hear the, price?
Yeah. Yeah, Ann wants to discuss cleaning the sewer line basically from Bungie out to US 27 along
I have
2nd
two-
Street.
There's 2 quotes there.
Do I need to sign another one of these? I've signed a couple already.
Okay.
We had,
Sign 3, 1 for Phyllis, 1
we
for
had
me, 1 for her.
camera work done on Marshall Street sewer and also the North 2nd Street. And North 2nd Street was found to be like half full of debris, grease, really bad. They couldn't get the camera to go through all of it.
Well,
We asked for prices for cleaning. The back page, this Brian Ben, they are the people that did the camera work, but they don't clean, so they would subcontract it, which I'm not real excited about having a subcontractor. They just gave a price per hour. The Advanced Rehab Technology is the outfit that cleaned our interceptor for the interceptor project. We've already worked with them before. They just gave a flat rate. The hourly rate, if it took 4 days, it'd be $8,800, which would be better than 10,000, but he said 3 to 6 days. So the 5th day, we hit 11,000. So we're really wanting to go with the flat 10,000 feet because we've worked with them before and they do a good job. Plus, this will include a video after it's cleaned, and the other quote didn't include that.
All right, I'm sorry, Ann. So there's 2 quotes here. One from C-Pipe.
It's,
Is that how you say it?
that's their handle for their email. It's R&R Visual.
R&R Visual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, they are the ones that cameraed the interceptor to see how bad it was. Then when we wanted it cleaned, we hired the
Advanced Rehabilitation Technology. The second quote, Barb, is from Advanced Rehabilitation Technology.
Because R&R is cheaper for the camera work, but I think Advanced Rehab is better for cleaning.
Well, with R&R, you really don't know what their charges would be.
Yeah, it could go up to as much as 13,000 if it's 6 days. 13,200.
So they gave us a price of $275 an hour with an 8-hour daily minimum charge, and it would take 3 to 6 days to complete to restore flow to a 95% capacity. The other quote was a flat fee. Regardless of how long it takes them, regardless of what they run into, their fee, if I'm understanding.
And then the last point there includes the video.
Okay. And their price was $10,388.93. And since we don't really know how much R&R would be, like you said, it could be 6 days, it'd be up to as much as 13. And you prefer Advanced Rehab Technology
For this kind of work.
for this kind of work. Discussion?
no, you've used Advanced prior, you say?
Yeah,
We've used both of them.
All that gravel when the old interceptor was so bad, they cleaned it so we could camera and see that it needed to go out.
I think the advanced rehabilitation technology is the better product with a flat fee of $10,388.93. With
And
the
what-
other one saying 3 to 6 days possible, so.
Where would they start? At the tracks or where?
It's around the office building.
So they would go
It's before the track.
before the, near the office building, under all the tracks,
Yeah.
and all the way out to
And
US.
we've had the jet spray under those tracks the last couple of years a few times. There's problems under that track.
Have we ever had it cleaned to this extent,
We've never cleaned it.
to that extent?
You mean way back when the galley was out at the plaza, Gerber's was there. The Mexican restaurant goes into it, but that's the only restaurant now.
Now,
But
you used to have the galley and,
I've been there.
yeah.
It takes in like North Cross Creek, Riverside Court,
Takes in a lot.
Canterbury, Winchester State, Master and Mix and Lewis.
Traffic control's not included, it says. Are we gonna need any?
It depends. It depends. We get people out there if we have to.
Okay.
They did the camera work and they didn't need any traffic control, but this will involve a tractor truck and water. It might be a little more involved.
It's 2,308 lineal feet at $4.50 a lineal foot. That's how they quoted it.
And you said, where'd you say this starts?
About in front of the Bungie offices on Second
Is that what you're
Street.
saying? Okay, and it's pretty clear all the way to that point, from the west side
We
to there?
did camera before that.
Do you have any reason to believe that it's clogged, not clogged, or?
I don't have any reason to believe that it's not. It's not clogged, it's not restricting flow. But if you saw the little bit of camera that they do have, you probably have full. But that's what we have camera.
But going-
That's what we're gonna clean right now. I mean,
But going on south on Second Street then, it's probably gets less and less because there's not any industry or anything that's going into it.
you know, I mean, we can do that later.
We can check it, yeah.
Get more camera work done. That's just, we had questions about Bungie. Kevin was wondering about some of their tap-ins and stuff, and we wanted to see the tap go on there.
Mm-hmm,
It's why we picked that section to begin with.
okay.
It wasn't,
It
wasn't a problem.
because we thought there was a problem.
I
We were
see.
more curious about taps from Bungie.
but once you got the camera down there, you saw.
Yeah.
And then, does it come all the way back down to Second Street then, does it?
It goes to the main lift station.
I'm sorry?
It goes to the main lift station.
Okay. Which is there across from Riverview or whatever? All right.
On the road.
I'd make a motion that we use advanced rehabilitation technology and give the mayor the opportunity to sign for that. I'll second that.
A motion and a second to approve advanced rehab technology to do the cleaning of the sewer line on North Second Street. Any other discussion? If not,
That's sewer operating, sewer operating money.
yeah, coming from,
Yeah.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And I'll sign this for you here. I suppose you could have signed it, right? Well, you can throw this one away and sign another one if you want.
No, you want a copy? Yeah. Unless you want to take it, you keep that, no. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. I'm not sure who this is, if it's Kurt or who this is. For Corson? Kurt and Les.
No, but did you see it? I have it one up here.
This is for City Hall fire and security monitoring. And help me out here, guys. We currently, for that, are using a system from Innovative.
We're using both, yeah, Corson's for fire and Innovative for
Security.
security. And since I've been here, in the year that I've been here, we've had nothing but issues.
With the security part, I agree.
The security part. The alarm will go off on a Sunday afternoon, no phone calls are made. We come in Monday morning and the alarm is going off. Sometimes when the alarm does go off, we don't hear it. Nobody can hear it. Unless we get a phone call from Innovative and then we stick our head out in the hallway, then we can slightly hear it. So what this is a quote from Corson's for them to take on the whole ball of wax. And that includes doing the second floor as well.
No, so on the security part, all the cameras and everything that's here, they'd go bye-bye and new ones would come in, or
No.
those belong to us?
Correct.
Okay.
They would just take over the monitoring
Okay.
of everything.
Okay, so this is for monitoring the security as well as the fire protection,
Yeah, so the sprinkler system is included in that.
and it would take care of both the first floor and second floor.
If you go to page 2,
Yep.
it lists everything that they're going to be doing, the scope of work, and then it covers what the alarm system will be, and then what the monthly charge will be. Right now, we're paying roughly $35 a month for Innovative to monitor our system, and then we're also paying Corson on an annual basis for backflow inspection, fire alarm inspection, sprinkler inspection. If we had Corson, if Corson takes care of everything, we're going to pay an extra $10 a month. Total of $45 versus $35 we were paying for.
But everything would be monitored through one company. And I believe they're doing the fire extinguishers also already, so.
What is the $9,995? What's that?
That's for the scope of work,
That's the
install of,
That's the install and everything,
correct.
but then, so over and above the $9,995 for the install, our total fee goes up $10 a month?
$10 a month.
Okay.
And in order to occupy the new upstairs, it's going to have to be brought up.
Yeah, even if we stayed with Innovative, theirs would go up if once we added it.
Right.
And we know Corson's good with the fire side of things, but what do we know about them with the security side?
Rev uses them for the security side, they have no issues. And from experience, their Knox box has a tamper switch, and so if we open that Knox box within a minute, they're calling dispatch and say, hey, somebody's in the Knox box. So they're I mean, it's as real-time off-site monitoring as you can. They've been dependable on the others that they do, and Rev would probably be they've been consistently a good performer, I guess.
Is there any kind of, let's say we switch to Corson on the security side, the fire side I'm not concerned about, I know they'll do that well, but let's say we switch the security over to them. We continue to have alarms going off with nothing actually happening, and like we are now.
Right.
What will they do? How are they gonna?
First thing they'll do is call probably me or less.
I mean, what are they gonna do to stop it? I mean, they'll work out the bugs. They're gonna come back and work out the bugs. Where anytime we've asked Innovative, they just say there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing exactly. They come in and they punch some stuff on the key code.
And I think the reason we went with Innovative to start with is because we wanted to keep business local if we could.
Well, and when I came in and took over the monitoring of the system out, I had Innovative come in, and he just punched through it real quick, and I'm asking him questions, trying to write notes, and he couldn't get out of here soon enough. I told Corson, if you take this over, you're going to teach me this system from the ground up so that I can control stuff in here.
Yeah, like with Red, or with the city, if we come up here at 2 o'clock in the morning and we got a call and we went through the building, the fire department wouldn't have a problem with resetting the cities if we had the reset code. If we were sure the building was secure, there wouldn't be any issues with resetting it. Now, we wouldn't do that with anybody that wasn't our own.
Right.
But, so, I mean, we could set it up where we would have all the passcodes and reset codes in the Knox box so that we could reset the system wouldn't need them to come down when we have a false trip or a false alarm or any of those things. So.
Is it basically going to cost us $9,000 to take care of the second floor and the basement, which is not already taken care of?
Right.
If that's just a cost of goods?
Right, and it's also, they're going to add a couple of extra detectors down here and a couple extra strobes. Because like I said, right now, sitting in my office, that alarm can go off out there and you can't hear it. You have no idea.
I've used Coorson at a private situation for probably 15 years, and they're a very reputable company. I would suggest that are you asking for a motion, or we need to continue to discuss? If it's cost of goods, I don't have a problem with it because I know they've got good stuff, and if they're going to share the information with you to where you can shut off codes at our local level, I think that's an excellent idea too.
Well, another thing is, Innovative doesn't give us, every year, they have to provide us with
Fire inspection, the report is, they have not done sensitivity testing, which is required, and when they do give you a printout, it's computer gibberish. It's not the NFPA Detector 1 tested this. It's just, you've got sort of garbage back from
It's not easily coded. So what are you looking for? A motion to...
Wait just a minute, though.
Well, if there's any questions, I think it would be beneficial to have the monitoring done by one single source.
What about the two-quote thing? This is $9,995, and anything between $1,000 and $9,999, we're supposed to get two quotes.
If you wanted a local quote on the alarm system, I mean, Be Secure would be a local, but he's not going to, now you're still going to have a secondary that's going to have Corson or Viper or somebody's going to have to do the sprinkler.
So if we decide to go with Corson, we're going to have to forego the purchasing ordinance, make the exception like we did 2 weeks ago with, what was that we did that for? It was a... Yeah. And that's, and there's good reason to go with Corson. Like you said, the fact that it's all under one system, then we know they're good, and so I think if you want to do that, we'd need that to be part of the motion.
You already use them for part of what is being done, so you're just consolidating it under one company that can provide
Sounds like it's
services.
cleaner. I have good faith in them. I don't have a problem with them.
we can waive any of the requirements, so that's, need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we consolidate our fire and security system and go with one company that will provide the expertise and manageability for the fire department.
And waive the requirement of getting a second quote.
And waive the requirement of getting a second quote.
Have a motion, Bill?
Second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? If not, look for all those in favor? Aye. And opposed? We're good to go. You sign this?
I'll sign
Okay.
everything.
All right. Did you get one of these?
I've got a copy, but
We've got money to pay for it, right, Carlos?
I'm gonna pay it on the City Hall project fund. It's all part
For
of
that second story?
Second floor.
Yeah.
No, security.
Okay.
Those are the places to sign.
It'll be good.
Right here, customer acceptance on the back of one of the pages.
Yeah.
Here, why don't you take this one?
That was $9,995.
Okay, Don, would you be the one going to come up on the Eastbrook lift station? Jeremy, Don, Ann?
Right the first time, Don.
Anybody?
A couple months ago, you rejected the bids on the Eastbrook lift station. There needed to be some clarity to the plans. All those little details have been worked out. Ann and Berlin have reviewed them numerous times, back and forth. Is that correct? We went back and forth with Brett Miller. Everything is satisfactory. We're asking permission to advertise.
Okay, you've got the specs, you agree with them all. So what you want to do now is you're requesting to advertise the Eastbrook lift station, put it out for bid.
I would approve the specs and authorize it to be bid based upon.
Okay, so that would be the motion we would look for. To approve the specs submitted after Ann and Berlin's reviewed them, and to put this out for bid, advertise for bid.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to move forward with the lift station quoting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Thank you. All right, that's that. Phyllis, do we want to discuss just to kind of let council members know, this morning in the department head meeting, we talked about the possible employee manual changes. Now, we decided this morning not to do anything yet because we're not ready, but do we still want to kind of discuss what we're looking at, just to get the opinions of everyone, so that because most likely in the next couple of weeks
They're gonna have to adopt it.
at the next meeting we'll likely want to adopt it. You want to kind of just brief this?
Scott not here?
Murray?
Oh. Yeah, we need council on here.
Hey, Lonnie, you want to get those two? Tell them to come in. Arrest them, Lenny. Cuff them. Ah.
Well, we're
No,
gonna discuss
There's
changes
some,
to the policy manual, and you guys probably should hear about it.
yeah. And these aren't changes we're making yet. We're just talking about it. We'd kind of like your input. We talked about it this morning at the department head meeting. And take it away, Phyllis.
Vacation benefits, paragraph 3, change sentence to paid vacation time may be used in 4 or 8 hour increments. It was, you can take it by the hour, and we want to amend that back to the way it was in the old manual, 4 or 8 hour increments.
We were told by the
Same for the sick
company
leave.
that rewrote our employee manual that we had to allow employees to take it in as little as 1 hour, or it could even be less than that.
It could be even by minute.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
We, since then, who did we call? We called...
We called the Department of Labor.
Kind of painted track.
Yeah, that's one of the issues we had.
We called something about Phyllis checked with the Department of Labor, and we've got an email from them saying that that's a
It doesn't-
benefit, and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
So when we rewrote our policy manual, it's saying that you can take it by the hour. And that's not only vacation time, but
It
it's
was
also
sick
sick
time,
leave time also.
So we
So,
had-
yeah, Jeremy brought the point up when we initially found this, is that, if you get a repeat offender, it's always showing up for work half an hour late.
Right.
You can just sort of say, hey, take a half hour vacation.
Right.
Just keep taking an hour vacation. Well, this prohibits things like that from happening. So that's the first thing. Any discussion or?
You guys got any comments?
I would agree with what you're
Okay.
suggesting.
More workable.
Yeah, these are basically just kind of, that's just basically amending or correcting.
It's technical corrections to our
Thank you.
policy.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
other thing is overtime, comp time, and flex time. Paragraph 3, change sentence 4 to all comp time must be used within 1 year of the overtime incurred.
So in other words, if I have comp time today, it's May 1st, I have to,
You have until May 1st.
of next year, to take it.
Take that, but we want it to be used up. We don't want people to
That's
keep
illegal.
accumulating it.
There's places where you have to do it within the week, the pay period. There are places where you have to do comp time
And
within the pay period.
Up to you guys, unless you'd rather just pay the comp time out. I mean,
We have,
Or just pay them the
Away
overtime.
from when employees retire.
yeah, well, we're
Yeah,
we're
and
already
that,
working on
You
that.
gotta use it.
actually, I would suggest within the pay period, because that's much easier to track. That if you're going out clear a
That'd make it
whole
difficult for
year.
department heads though if they're working on a project.
department heads, are you listening? Or do you have comments?
That makes it very difficult,
Does it? What would be the,
especially this time of year.
but a whole year, is that necessary?
I know, like, when I worked in the county, it was maxed at 80 hours that had to be used in that calendar year. So if you bring right out at the end of the year,
Do you have a policy?
I did, I brought it.
Do we have a max on? Like, what's our max for the comp time?
Yeah, I think that's the purpose of
I
it.
have one employee now that has
It's not-
well over 100 hours of comp time.
But we're saying,
That we're just going to have to pay out, but it's been over, it was way back when his dad was still a supervisor. 7 years
Accumulated is 40
That
hours.
has been carried on that long. So it does get to be an issue, because if that person would terminate employment,
sure, it's a big
you have to
check.
pay all that out.
So
So there's got to be a
Non-exempt
better way
employees
of
may
counting
accumulate
it.
up
would you think within a physical year or a calendar year would be a better?
No, if, within 1 year of the date it occurs, because if it was a calendar year, if you accumulated it the last week of the year,
That's what we're thinking.
then you'd have to use it right away.
We'd give them more time to take it. Because a lot of them do accumulate.
You want to put a maximum on it too, or is
There is a maximum
There is
on
a
it right now,
40.
40 hours of compository
Comp
time.
Shouldn't go over 40 hours, or 40 hours.
What some of the new employees do is they're coming in, they're young, they have children in baseball, travel ball, some other things that have no vacation at all. So when they're taking the overtime, they will build up some comp time, or there's day here, day there in the summer months.
Sure.
Or they're essentially lying to you, telling you that you're sick on that day to get compensated for it. So they're just building up some comp time, but it does get excessive. You know, comp time breeds comp time.
Yeah.
You know, and it gets to be a real issue.
Suggestion?
I don't care where you guys set the max at, but I do agree with Phyllis, if you get into a snowy December, and you have a couple, 2 or 3 long weeks of plowing snow, you have a leak and then you have another leak of all filing snow, you're going to have to start making exceptions for the guys to be able to use, carry that time over into the following year.
So you're saying the occurrence?
And how many hours do you think we should max that at?
40, we already have
it's already that.
We've already got that, and we're not looking to change that,
Okay.
unless you guys
So
are.
it basically would be calendar or fiscal, or the day of occurrence?
When-
Day of occurrence.
Yeah. That's what Phyllis and Wendy were kind of proposing, and I agreed with them.
Makes good sense to me.
Okay.
Okay. The next is drug and alcohol use testing. Change whole paragraph to read, any employee who tests positive for illegal drugs will be terminated, discharged. Any employee who tests positive for alcohol, BAC of .020 or greater will be terminated, discharged.
Now, we discussed that this morning at the department head meeting, and with Lenny and Mike Mahan's statements, I guess, they felt as though anything less than a 0.40, correct, Lenny? Am I saying it right? Which is what a DOT or CDL licensee would be legally drunk, I guess, is a .08. A .04 is classified as over the limit for someone with a CDL. And Lenny, maybe you can help us out. If a guy has, like you said this morning, if a guy's been bowling and has a few beers at the bowling alley, and he comes home, and how long does it take that effect to wear off or come out of his system?
It depends on the size of the individual too, but, if he would get in a wreck first thing in the morning and he would have to take a urine screen, there'll be traces of alcohol in the urine screen, but there's no probable cause, no breath, his eyes aren't red and watery, he didn't show any signs of intoxication, just through his urine. So, we felt that...
If he did a breathalyzer, he would blow...
He probably would blow anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So...
And quite honestly, it might not show up in his screen, it'll probably show up in his blood, the blood alcohol content, but we're just doing a urine screen, but...
Well, I think we were going to do urine and breath, if yeah. Right, Phyllis?
Yeah. So is that okay, what we amended? Yes, no?
Yes,
Okay.
Well, we were looking at 04 though, right, Lenny?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
What
one-
was it set at? Well,
Right now, the way it
There's
is right
nothing
now,
in
there's
there.
nothing.
Oh.
Right now, if an employee goes out, they get a urine test, and it's a pass-fail. Okay?
oh,
And right now, on your urine, it's going to show up in there. And we've had employees who's had a couple of beers the night before, like out at the bowling alley, and either had involved in an accident or through random selection, has to go out and get a urine test, and it says it comes back positive for alcohol. Well, you can tell by talking to them, they don't smell, their eyes are good, they're not under the influence. So we don't really like the urine testing for alcohol. That's why we decided to go with a urine and a breathalyzer.
So this would be if there was some sort of accident. Are we doing random
Yeah.
alcohol screening?
We're doing random...
CDL is required by the state.
yeah. So it could get picked up either way.
Yeah.
And what percentage are you saying?
.04.
0.04?
What you're saying that you're going to, before it was just urine, but now you're going to do a urine test and a breathalyzer?
Right.
You're not going to test for
Because
alcohol.
the urine would bring out the drugs, whether it's THC in their system or whatever, and that, if that's it breaks it down as whether it's THC or other things, okay? If THC shows up, then that's not a matter of how much. It's just a positive. That one there is good. Urine test is good for the drugs, but for the alcohol, we need the breathalyzer.
Are you following the 5-panel or 7-panel on that? The CDL 7-panel, or are you going to go with a 5-panel that's pretty much throughout the state?
They're doing 5
Huh?
You do a 5? Okay.
What's that mean, Greg? I don't even know.
They just take out a couple of silly drugs that, they just take out a couple of drugs that you normally wouldn't see. I've done both.
Yeah.
I've done both. I just went to a 5-panel strict and alcohol, breath, and then urine.
Was it in?
7 panel, you'll get false.
Today she had.
False ratings,
she had
yeah.
one of those.
I'd stay with a 5.
Like shows cocaine, THC,
Huh?
heroin.
7 panel, you'll get...
Right.
Like,
And it's more expensive for the city. I just go with a 5.
It is expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, but look,
Question is...
So, yeah, the question is, read the whole thing again here.
.04.
yeah.
4.
And right now, if a person goes out there and they test positive for drug, okay, our current policy says that if they will pay their own insurance and keep their insurance up, we will put them on unpaid leave. They would pay their insurance, therefore they still have city insurance. As long as they have the city insurance will pay for them to go through drug rehab. Okay? And that can take a long time. Going through a drug rehab, we know can take 5 months or longer to go through, just because of the way the classes are scheduled. It could be, and it varies depending on what the drug is, what they're going to rehab for. So our policy has been very forgiving. I mean, most places, if you test positive for drugs, you're out. Okay. With ours, you go on unpaid suspension. If you pay your own insurance, and it's not the COBRA rate, it's just
Our
rate, yeah,
Right.
then
employee share.
you can go through drug rehab. It's paid for through the premium you're paying for your insurance, and when you finally finish and your urine is clean, you can come back to work. We're proposing, read it again, Phyllis.
An employee who tests positive for illegal drugs will be terminated, discharged. Any employee who tests positive for alcohol, BAC of, and we'll change it to .040 or greater, will be terminated and discharged.
So it's not as forgiving if we would go with this. And I don't want to sit here tonight and make a decision on that one, because we are surveying other communities to see what theirs is. I've heard back from New Haven and Columbia City thus far, but I've got it out to
So
several
we're
others.
basically the proposals is 0 tolerance.
That's kind of what we're looking at. But if we see that other communities are,
The other thing is, you may want to check, because we're required to have a drug-free workplace, but in that, I'm not sure, but there may be some provisions under federal law that you have to offer counseling before you can terminate. So
yeah, I think in New Haven, I think it says that.
I don't know how long you have before that has to be finalized, but you probably better
Yeah,
check a little more.
there's no deadline on this. This was just something we've been talking about. Today we had a department head meeting, so we discussed it with the department heads, and I thought, well, I'll bring it up tonight, because I knew we were going to have time, so I thought I'd bring it up.
I'm not proposing this, but there are some companies out there that are beginning to back off of the marijuana, still hire them.
That's because they need
workers.
They need
Yeah, they need workers
I know.
badly. Yep.
And I didn't make that statement to propose it.
I understand. Yep.
Right.
And then there was one last one, and that is...
And it was just a typo error
Yeah.
in the policy manual under political activities. It was referring to a policy, C712, and
We
it
don't
was
have it.
really 713.
We don't have a section
There is just
712.
that was really more a typo.
Yeah. So that's all on that, and like I said, once I get the answers from other communities, we can discuss this again. I'll email all of you what I find, and we'll go from there. So that's that.
What's the comp time? Did you say after your year's up, what happens to the month? You don't need to use it, or you get paid out?
You get paid out, right, Phyllis? If you-
I don't know, that's up to you guys.
What is our current policy?
You wouldn't lose money if you tell
Do you
them
get
that
paid out at the end of that time period?
Accumulates.
Oh, it just accumulates, doesn't it?
That's what we're trying to avoid. We don't
Yeah,
want to
but
accumulate
Currently,
to
there is
40.
no really time limit. Is
Right.
that what you're saying?
Correct.
Currently?
Correct.
Okay.
So we could say
I
either
don't think
use
it
it
does,
or
does
get
it?
paid
Doesn't have any.
in a year's time.
Yeah.
27?
What, to me, I just don't want to
Let
see
me
these
reread
$10,000 and
this.
$20,000 checks.
After.
And that can really hit a budget if we get tight.
No, well, it's supposed to be used up by the end of the year. It does say that.
Right now, it has to be used up at the end of the
And
year.
may not be carried over to year to year.
But if they don't use it, do you pay them?
Or they lose it, or?
No, they do get paid out that.
They get paid,
But yearly?
I mean, we haven't done it unless somebody requests it. Jeremy, doesn't your guys normally take their comp time? Yeah. But see, we just adopted this, when did we adopt this thing?
A couple months ago.
I mean, myself,
First of
if
the year.
an employee
just
wants to
changed that.
work and not use that up and get rewarded for not using it up, but in a yearly payout, not...
What was that?
So he already has that choice. Okay. Okay.
And really, the department
Saying
has
at the
that
end of the year,
choice
this is
to
the
do
result.
that.
We don't have 5 years worth of comp time sitting there to pay out.
Right.
Right. Be resolved then.
Well,
So they can choose to get paid currently the overtime or take the comp time.
Right.
Okay, that makes more sense.
What was that?
I think in the future, with comp time, we should get straight.
It's a pain, really. It's better just to...
the last thing that I have on the Board of Works agenda, and Phyllis has asked me to bring this up, and that is to discuss possible raises for the staff.
And that's just discussion for now,
Yep.
so we can kind of get a feel.
So
of
department
what we
heads can make their
work
budgets.
On our budgets. If you want me to get you some scenarios of the
Yes, please.
cost, or are you thinking
Please.
amounts or percentages, or if you have any ideas? Or what-
What I can do is I can email you all the raises we've given, and we've got that
I have
documented
the-
in the past 20 years, whether it's been percentage or whether it's been a flat amount. I can email all that to you tomorrow.
Okay.
And then Tim just said that the county's looking at
Pretty
3%.
Pretty
for
sure I
the-
saw in the paper that they were targeting at 3%.
Yeah.
So something to be thinking about, and like I said, I'll email you, and she can work up a couple scenarios as to what it does to the budget at 2%, 2.5%, 3%, whatever, so. Okay?
Okay.
Is that enough on that?
Thank you.
Tim, do you have anything else for the Board of Works? Because I don't have anything else. I guess I will say something else.
I thought that we were on the agenda for a facade update.
You were, I just didn't write it down. Hey, Melissa, how about an update on the facade? Yeah, you go.
I
Tim
don't
can
have-
wait.
I don't have anything.
Langley's gonna present to us tonight.
Come on, Langley.
Aw.
I don't know anything about it.
First off, I just want to say, on behalf of Chief Corral and myself, especially, we're very happy about Romeo's decision last year.
Yes. I'm not sure if Chief Corral is as
I
happy
know
as you
you're
are.
very happy about it. I talked to him this morning.
I'm not sure if Chief Corral or Tim Baker.
I'm not particularly happy about it either. so.
Oh. He didn't even have a Purdue hat sitting up there, did he?
No.
Yeah.
Flipping it into his name.
Uh-uh.
You go or you go?
Go ahead.
Okay. We just wanted to provide an update of the 2018 facade program. And the next month, the facade committee, which is made up of Tony, Sandy Collier, Max Miller, and Alex Mendez, have reviewed the applications and scored them. And the plan is,
Time out.
all right,
Give us those names again.
Tony Murray,
Mm-hmm.
Max Miller, Sandy Collier, and Alex Mendez.
And you. Are you?
I manage the committee. I'm not a voting member of the facade committee.
Okay, so it's just those 4 people.
Correct.
And the reason it's those 4 people is because they're all on a
Community members.
It's the
Main
design
Street.
committee for Main Street,
Exactly, okay.
which I am the head.
Okay, go ahead.
So, in the next month, as the facade committee makes their final decisions, they'll make a recommendation to Decatur Main Street to their board to approve those who will be funded, and then that approval will come to the city council for approval. So, like I said, we just wanted to keep everybody updated of what's going on. For the 2018 downtown facade program, we received more applications than ever before in the 3 years of the program so far. We received 12 applications. You might want to have your pen ready for this one. I think everybody knows we have $50,000 to give away. This year, the grant funds requested were $129,715.38. So what we're wanting to have happen is happening. And just the 3rd year of the program, people are looking at their neighbors and looking at what other downtown businesses they're doing, and they're wanting this money, wanting to take advantage of that program. So I think I can speak for the committee when I say we're thrilled that the city has come forward with this money and that it's being used as we all hoped it would. Along with that $129,000 requested, there's a 50-50 match for the program. So if you request $10,000 of city money, you're on the hook to put up $10,000 of your own money. The private investment that's been proposed to be put forward is $316,021.53.
That's great.
So that's more than double.
That's a
what
number
they-
that needs to be kept out in the forefront
Right.
of everything as it moves forward.
Right. So with a total price, if you put those two numbers together, you're right at about $445,000.
That's
So
terrific.
that's a great number.
Melissa, is that from the last 3 years, or is that just for
That's
2018?
just the applications we've received for
This year,
2018.
That's an impact.
That's why, yeah.
A quick recap, in 2016, which was the first year of the program, 4 projects were awarded for a total of $28,000 in grant funds. That being the first year in getting things going and getting used to things. Then in 2017, there were 8 applications that came in, and the committee decided to award all 8 of those. Not at full request amount, but because of some carryover from the year before, more than $70,000 was spent for a total, and then with the private investment, you're looking at about $110,000.
That year, we were able to, across the board, with what council allowed us to carry forward from the first year, we had enough wiggle room to give everybody like I think it was 10% reduction in their award. That allowed us to do all 8 projects. Had we not decided to go that route, there were a few that weren't going to get done. This year, we have 12 great projects again, and there isn't a percentage we can chop, so.
This is going to be a rough decision for the committee as they look at these 12 projects. And from the meeting we had just to review all these projects, there's not one project that the committee wants to dump. I mean, they love every project, and so it's going to be a challenge to decide on, does one project only get windows, or does one project only get paint, or does one project get fully funded, or does one project not get funded at all? So they've got some serious numbers to crunch to decide how this is going to get funded.
What we are coming for this evening is if there are any extra funds available that could be awarded towards the total over and above the $50,000 that we've already got. That's kind of what we're asking for. If there isn't, we'll figure it out. But before we decided and chopped some projects or only awarded a couple, we wanted to come and see if there was any funds available somewhere, creative budgeting or something, I don't know. But that's our request that we're making, to try and award as many of these as possible. Some of these are pretty big impact projects all over downtown. It's not it's not a couple windows or a little bit of paint. It's 4 or 5, it's a Vinnie's type of impact, 4 or 5 storefronts. So there are several of those big projects in there. And when they are finished, that would be a huge impact on the entire downtown area.
Do you think it's better to cut a little bit and have multiple projects, or tell some of them, we love your idea, we'll see you next year, please apply again?
That worked well last year. The projects...
And this is year 3, we committed to 5 years, and
Yes.
we could commit, if it continues to go well, I'd say let's do it another 5 years after the,
That's what we're hoping, once that 5 years is up. Last year, the projects themselves had some parts that were able to absorb that little bit of a reduction that let us go ahead and award everyone. This year, I don't think that we're just going to have to cut whole projects. I don't think it's going to be a 10% here or 15% here, because that, in my opinion, it wouldn't be worth doing the project.
I have a question for Phyllis and for the council. When we did the 50,000, are we budgeting that every year, or did we put 250,000 in 3 years ago, or
No.
50 a year.
So we're basically
We budgeted 50 a year.
budgeting for 19 or 18. This is the amount, and we have no carryover from last year.
Yes, I
The
mean, that's what's
only
in
carryover
there.
we have are the projects that weren't able to be completed last year for reasons outside of their control that we're carrying over and they'll be completed.
Community Foundation was awarded last year. The work hasn't been completed yet. It's going to be,
Right. And that's because of the construction.
and it's going to come out of last year's
asset.
money.
Sure.
Right,
So we've got 2 projects that money was carried over, again, through no fault of the owner of the project, that they will complete this year.
So,
carrying over 38,346 plus the new 50,000 for this year.
we budgeted 50,000 a year for 5 years, but we haven't reached those years. Could we budget more than 50,000 in a year in coming
In
years?
19 and 20.
If there's still this much,
Interest.
could we budget 75,000? Could we budget?
In the new budget,
And then
Sure.
add more money to that.
Right. I think the question before you is, can
Do
you
we have
find
more
any
money
additional
now?
money
now,
this year?
we're pretty much maxed on everything. I mean,
As much as it's
especially
hard
with
to
Madison
say
Street Plaza.
we want to turn somebody down, yet this is a competitive grant.
Yeah.
And the excitement's
So
building.
that does happen with
Certainly
grants.
understand that we're going to take
when does it start?
take that as we get it. We just, we're
Sure. Oh, yeah.
for other options before we had to make those decisions.
You don't know if you don't ask.
The problem, the program is doing exactly what we had hoped it would do.
Sure has.
Approval, certainly making some big changes downtown.
And to some extent, I think the competitiveness does add to now, and people, it gets their attention.
Am I correct? And Vinnie's wasn't approved year 1,
They were not.
so they waited and did a grand project the next year. I mean,
Yeah.
some of these have looked not great for a long time. Another year, I would almost rather see, again, it's you guys' decision, but I would rather see some get cut rather than cut the amount of all the people that want to do it.
I know that's a hard decision.
Yep. Thank you, Tony, and thank the other 3 and Melissa for working on this. It's not easy, and you're volunteering your time to do it. And I think we all really appreciate it.
Tony, is there a max that one person can receive?
Yeah.
Mhm.
$15,000 is the max, but it is per parcel. So if your building is, Chris last year, I believe, his amount was somewhere around 22,000. But on the books, his 4 storefronts are individual parcels. Two Brothers this year, I believe, It's 4 parcels. What's the one that's only one? There's one that
Would it be
at
the
some
Oak
point
Ridge?
throughout their 2 or 3 storefronts was combined into one parcel. So they have 3 storefronts, but it's one parcel on the books. So they're only allowed to 15,000. But yes, and maybe we go and reduce the amount next year to 10,000. But either direction we go, we've got the interest and we've got everything that we wanted to happen. And now
It's just exploded.
Yeah.
Well, we went from 38,000 to over 400,000 in the third year. This is a big impact.
I think in the future, we need to wrestle with, do we want to
Budget more.
money?
Right. And after talking to Tim about the scheduling on the budgeting, I mean, I would hate to throw out any application for 2018 that is worthy on your committee. I mean, if you could put them in a line of order that you think is necessary, and because we'll be doing budget, in end of May, June, we won't get approval
August,
until
yeah.
Well,
end of the year.
we can't award, if it's a competitive process, we can't award
Yeah.
and say, hold on till next year, because we might
Price
have 4
might-
other
right.
business owners that decide, we've saved up for 3 years now, we've got our match.
Okay.
We're gonna go for it. So,
One thing that I would...
scrub all that every year and start over from scratch.
One thing that I would suggest is perhaps speaking with the redevelopment commission meeting. They have a meeting tomorrow night.
That's true. Good point.
And because these storefronts are in their TIF allocation area, and because the improvements that are being made potentially increases the assessed value, which then adds to what the redevelopment commission would capture, it's possible that they might be able to find some additional funds. So
I know Tony's not going to hear this, cover your ears. I mean, downtown is a great place to invest this money. I get calls from people who are outside of the downtown area. They
Sure.
say, how can I access that money?
Yep.
So
We're in
seeing the
Decatur, too,
success
yeah.
of this,
mhm.
Again, not to diminish in the funds needed for the downtown program, but is there another area of town
Right.
that would have a similar program?
Right.
Whether it's 13th Street or a north or a south or whatever,
Mhm.
to really be fair.
And
Give-
I'm kind of I've had this thought through my head too. I'm kind of on along the lines of Melissa. We start, okay, this is, Main Street might be offended for it, but this is growing, it's working, it's doing what it was, but then if we start just piling money onto this and let everything else fall apart, then we're not,
and the redevelopment commission has,
We're not, and actually, we've had some conversation with Chamber, because the Chamber is at large.
right? You have other businesses in the
and redevelopment commission has discussed this very issue
Right.
also, as to whether or not we should establish another entity like Main Street that covers the ones outside of that area.
I mean, I
Whether it's
think
a 13th Street corridor district where they all pay into it and it goes toward the development of that corridor.
Is there
Because
something...
we've had businesses that border on Main Street saying,
Yeah.
why can't maybe we be part of Main Street? And while we're talking here, Main Street did just expand their boundaries. The boundaries now, they've been Jackson to the north, Adams to the south. Now to the east is Stratton, so it encompasses all of those businesses and the nature preserve.
Didn't know that.
And then to the west, 8th Street.
So now Bill Miller and the place across the street, those are all in. I think that's a good move.
And
Is this money
you guys
just
said something about apologizing, but I think that's the whole point of
growing?
Main Street as a whole. I mean, we had to have a focal point,
Yep.
and that ripple effect is meant to cover the whole city.
Yeah.
So, although we're protective of our area, I don't, protective is probably not a good word, but, we're focused on our area. We want 13th Street and we want other parts of town to grow and change, improve their areas as well.
Is part of the award process owner-occupied buildings?
Good question, Matt.
Because you get out to the highway, you got a lot of landlords that own a plaza, as an example.
A business owner can apply if they rent their property, but they have to have approval from the building owner, from the property owner.
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Like Village Green, for example.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. We've got that in there as a requirement of the application that if they don't own the property, they have to at least get a letter from the building owner saying, yes, it's fine, I don't,
Yeah.
you know.
Rural King Plaza is looking rough.
Yeah.
Parts, very rough.
And I would interject one thing that, the issue that Tyler brought up, and that is, I think that the redevelopment commission is looking at, what could be done out on 13th Street. They're contemplating a feasibility study, to look at what can be done to make that a more attractive venue, as well as perhaps long-term finding ways that can make that something that's more suitable for businesses and make it more pedestrian-friendly so that it draws people out there just like we're trying to draw people to the downtown area.
What a great problem to have.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But no, thank you, Tony, and be sure to pass that on to the rest of the committee.
Will do.
It's not an easy thing you're going to be doing here, but we really appreciate it. And we will talk to redevelopment tomorrow night, see if there's any extra funding.
Sounds good, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does council want to budget for next year, more money, or not? Do you want me to put that in the budget?
I mean, do we just throw out, oh, sure. I mean, where did we determine the 50,000 a year for 5 years?
You know what?
Do we-
Matt, you and I were, I think, the only two on council when we did that, and I don't remember. I think it was the number
that
we threw out
plan.
there, or was
It
that?
was that plan that you guys made for 5
You
years.
kind of did it as a
Fiscal
5-year
plan.
50, didn't
There you
you?
go.
Kind of figure and divide it by 5. So
I think it was predicated or based upon the fiscal plan that was
Yeah.
developed, if I remember, by Umbach. So,
what about throwing out bump up to 75?
We can always, in future years, scale that back if there's not as much interest, but certainly looks like the next couple years, there's going to be plenty of interest.
Maybe Phyllis wants to build a little bit that.
And not consider that for a program in another part of the city.
Yeah, you're saying that it's,
25 is a big bump when we just had the discussion about is there another area that would benefit from this kind of,
it's a good point.
you know, at what point is council going to continue to allocate facade money for downtown without thinking of another area?
Yeah, although we've also got the economic, I always mess up the name.
Decatur Redevelopment Commission.
Redevelopment Commission too, to, I don't even know that.
On the several Main Street meetings that I had gone to that we went to different areas, what was it called? New Liberty, or what was
Yeah.
it called?
New Liberty was one.
They basically funded at 10,000, so in my opinion, we were ahead of them by 1.5. Cambridge City, I think I can't remember exactly, but I think that was around 10,000 too, so.
Per building.
Yeah, per
Okay, so we're
situation.
15.
So, you know, I think we're leading that curve. I'm not saying, I still think it's a great process when you see something go from $38,000 to over $400,000. You're getting somebody's attention. And I believe if we're going to do sidewalks down 2nd Street and we're going to take care of infrastructure, and we've got a lot of these people that are already participating, I like to see it continue because I think I don't want to pave them until the infrastructure's done. I don't want to put sidewalks in until the fronts are done because they're going to be driving heavy equipment over that. So
You know, I
I'm
guess
positive to it.
in the defense of the downtown area, Melissa, the fact that we do want to do streetscaping ultimately, and it would be nice to get the downtown facade work, the majority of it completed before we do that, the infrastructure work.
We can't make people take advantage of this program.
I know.
There's going to be a point at which not all the facades are going to be done. There's a point at which people will
And if you want
Not
to,
that it'll drop off, but
if you want to get sidewalks done and paved roads and stuff, you're going to need that 25,000 that you're going to throw. I mean, in my eyes, if you drive downtown and you've seen that we spent $50,000 in the last 2 years, you can tell what's been done. I mean, and it's getting done at $50,000. I don't know why you have to raise it up, because there's going to be more expense that the city's going to have to take on as far as sidewalks and paving roads.
Good
And
point.
if we're getting it done at $50,000, I don't know if we need to just,
The 25 would just speed it up. That would be the only reason there.
it would speed.
It would also take
them
away from
up,
the other
but slow
things.
us down.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a...
And I might point out, I think, Tony, if you insist that they apply, the ones that get turned down, reapply, I think that's very important, because Chris talked to me the first year he got turned down, and he was upset. And I told him, I said, this is a ongoing thing, we just started out, we're just moving with it, just continue to apply.
Oh, we have those discussions
Good.
with everyone of the applicants.
I think that's important, because I think people understand that, hey, I'll reapply because I might have a chance next year,
We
you know.
do have applicants that have applied, including this year, every year of the program, that still haven't been awarded yet.
Yeah. I think that's the only time it's gonna really hurt, is when
Maybe
somebody
what
just gives up.
Maybe what I threw out there was maybe just 10 more, maybe 60.
Let's just kind of ponder this. We don't need to make that decision tonight. Ponder, we'll have this discussion again.
Part of the facades though too, it's kind of a, yes, you want them to fix their facades before you do sidewalks and such, but I'll use our building as an example. We've got marble and stained glass. We're a little scared about tearing a sidewalk out. That isn't really bad, but you start shaking too much, you got kind of fragile here. You deal with Eileen during that tear.
Tony will. Okay, Tim, did you have anything? Okay. I don't think that I had anything else, so if not...
Like Melissa said though, that's all a good problem to have.
Yeah.
That whole program growing.
It is.
You want to adjourn?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn. Board of Works.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn the Board of Works meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.